All right, so let's start this session. Welcome everyone to today's demo session of the second version of our SoilWise Companion. This will be a validating and testing session. My name is Biljana Tadic. I'm from Bioscience Institute located in Serbia, and I'm Communication and Dissemination Manager in SoilWise project. You can all see my presentation, right? All right. So first of all, few intro points. I'm going to share the agenda with you, and this is a brief overview. First, we will have a welcome and general introduction to the SoilWise project. Next, we will have short explanation and live demonstration of the Soil Companion, our smart chatbot. Then we will have interactive session. You will be able to ask questions to the Soil Companion directly. And in the end, we will have feedback for the next development phase and closing remarks. These are few meeting logistics or instructions. This meeting will be recorded and shared via our communication channel. Please turn off your camera if you don't want to be recorded. Please keep your microphone muted until question and answer session. And you can add your questions directly into the chat, and we will answer them directly. Now here is the short introduction to the SoilWise project. Our colleague Mark Rosiers from ILO should be able to join us in a few minutes. Mark, are you there already? Or not? Let me check. I'm afraid not. So we will just start with a brief introduction. I can ask my colleagues if they would like to present the SoilWise project. Maybe they could do it a little bit better than me. Vanis or Rob Luckhurst?
I already agreed with Mark that I would do this introduction, so that's fine for me.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So, yeah, let me start. There are some animations in this PowerPoint, so it's not ideal if it's operated on distance, but let's see. So, SoilWise, yes. We are facing a problem with soil data and soil knowledge, namely that, yeah, it's everywhere and nowhere. It's very fragmented at the moment. So there are a lot of people working on soil and soil data in different countries, different research institutes, different knowledge organizations. But it's scattered all over Europe. So it's hard to find the data, and usually it's also not very well described. So the main goal of SoilWise is to sort of change this situation and work towards shared soil data and knowledge. Yeah, so the idea is to make data better findable and accessible for everyone. Also to make it interoperable, so also be sure that data is harmonized in a way that it can be easily used together. And the end, and that's the whole thing about fair data, is that it becomes reusable in a more easy way than currently. So it just brings data together and makes it reusable for everyone. Next slide. So the SoilWise project is a European research project. We, like I said, try to deliver something that brings together all this data and knowledge about soil and soil health. It's a 4-year project. We have a bit more than 1 year to go, so we're already quite a long way. 15 partners from 9 countries, so a lot of partners from different countries participate in this project. And we also, because in the end we want to have the system being used in a practical way, we have practice-oriented user cases. And one of them or actually more of them are aimed towards land users, land managers, landowners, and farmers. One thing is also important to say is that SoilWise and the infrastructure that we're developing is becoming part of the USO, the European Soil Observatory, which is run by the European Commission at GRC. So there's also a long-term guarantee that this system will stay available for everyone. And next slide, please. Yeah, so this is a bit of a very, very simplified picture of what we're trying to do. On one side, there are a lot of people who work on making data and knowledge in all kinds of projects all over Europe. On the other side, there are data and knowledge users, so people who want to use this to improve soil health, to improve land management. And we try to build something in between that brings that all together. We focus on quite some different user groups. Yeah, we're in this session, we're focusing mainly on land managers, including farmers, but we also work for policymakers and authorities, the scientific community, business, research and innovation network, and the general audience, so the general public, which could be everyone interested in soil and soil health. Next. So another picture of how this works, there's a lot of data and knowledge available. So yeah, the data is probably quite clear. It's databases, data sets, Excel sheets, things, yeah, you probably know. But we also work on knowledge, and that's a more heterogeneous thing. It's reports, it's scientific papers, it could be presentations, videos, it could even be software and models. So that's what we have on one side. And the other side, we have those users. And in the middle, we try to build this metadata catalog. And you have to think it a bit as, let's say, a search facility, more like a catalog that you would have also in a library. You give your search question, and it gives you a list with things that are hopefully somewhere in the direction of what you're looking for. Well, if you use those kind of things in a library, well, it means you get a list, but you still have to go to the bookshelves to find the books and even to read the books and to yes, make sure that what you have found in your catalog is what you want. So this yeah could work quite well for scientists, or maybe also for policymakers, for people who have the time and the capacity to read, document, analyze data sets, work with it. But yeah, what we also already concluded very quickly when we started the project is that for some groups, and specifically for land managers and farmers that we talk with, this is not the most useful way to present all this soil data and knowledge. So there we decided to also work on a chatbot. So you probably know systems like ChatGPT and other chatbots. They allow you to pose what we call natural language questions. So you can just type a question and you'll get natural language back as a response. So they allow you to set up sort of conversational interface with SoilWise in this case, and allow you to get real answers to real questions. So that's basically what we're focusing on in this specific demonstration with the Soil Companion, which is the chatbot that we built on top of the SoilWise Catalogue. Next slide, please. So we have some, so yeah, maybe before we go to the next slide. On one side, we deliver fair guidance. So we educate data providers and knowledge providers how they can make their data and knowledge better findable and usable. So it's easier for users on the other side to work with it. On the other side, with this chatbot, we also use that data and knowledge to provide answers to questions, like I said. Next slide. So yeah, in conclusion, what's in it for you being a land manager, a landowner, a farmer? Well, definitely one place to look for everything regarding soil health. If it comes to knowledge and data, it's a trusted source. So you know that what you find is valuable. So it can help you in your everyday work when you need soil information. This is not so strictly separated as it is in the slides here, but yeah, in general for people like intermediaries and advisors that advise farmers, intermediaries that provide service to farmers. The SoilWise Catalog could be a very interesting place to be, to find and access all kinds of things that are relevant for your work. If you're a landowner or a land manager, you might be more interested in a Soil Companion chatbot, which, like I said, gives tailored advice based on natural language question, also using those trusted sources in the SoilWise catalog. Of course, there will be landowners and land managers, farmers that are interested in the catalog and vice versa, but that's a bit of the way we separate things, and we think the chatbot is primarily interesting for people who don't have the capacity and the time to dig into big piles of documents and data. Last but not least, we're having this demonstration today to show you a bit how this Soil Companion works today. We'll continue working on the development, and your feedback will help us create a platform that works even better than what we are demonstrating right now. So a bit more will follow in the demonstration and at the end of the demonstration on how you can provide your feedback. But this is what I'd like to say as an introduction. Then it's up to my colleague Rob for the demonstration.
Thanks for the introduction. I'm kind of wondering if we're looking at the same slides because I made some last-minute changes this morning.
Well, if you have that on your computer, maybe you can share your screen.
Yeah, let me do that. Might be safer. Okay.
Don't see it in presentation mode yet, Rob.
Yeah, I need to switch and swap and whatnot.
Better. Yep.
Okay. Let's see if I also can move to a next slide. Okay. So yes, a few slides and then a live demonstration if everything works. That's always the gamble with live demonstrations. So like Rob already explained, we have the catalog, which indeed works as a library where you can find the nice library catalog cards, and then you're on your own to figure out where the books are and what's in them actually, how to find what you're actually looking for. Sometimes there's a nice librarian that can help you with that, and sometimes you have to do the work yourself. And I'm pretty much very interested in building something like a chatbot that tries to do more of that work in an automated way for you. So you can ask this your questions, you type them into like a search bar type, and then this question is handed to our chatbot, and then it will try to give you the best possible answer that it can derive from all the information that it can access. And I think like ChatGPT is an example of a chatbot that most of us will know, but you also see it in Google these days that they inserting more and more of these AI search components. So I think by now you can just put these two types of search queries into Google, and it will also try to do more work if you ask really a natural language query, and it will try to do similar things as we are trying with the chatbot. And our hope is, of course, that we can provide better quality answers that are more tailored to our user groups. This has also been explained where I'm on a development trajectory, basically. Like it matches the SoilWise, the larger SoilWise cycles. So there are 3 main cycles. Maybe some of you remember that early in the beginning, I introduced the concept of large language models and their capability to work with text and their increased capability at that time. So that was the version 1 chatbot, which was demonstrated basically, but there was no real online version that people could evaluate and play with for themselves. There was in sessions, there was a lot of positive feedback on this type of development. So that's why we continued. And now we have this version 2 that's online that we will be looking at today. And I will demonstrate how it works and what you can do with it at the moment. And then I started developing on the next version based on the feedback that I got so far on this version 2 chatbot. I will not, that's probably no time to demonstrate version 3, the early version live, but I will talk a little bit about that. So version 2, what you will see is the front end, the web interface in a browser. And then in the background, there's things running on our servers that implement all the functionality. It's basically these days, it's a very simple, naive, it's called a naive RAG system that works with the large language model. In this version, I'm using OpenAI model. So it's similar to the GPT models that run behind ChatGPT. But it can also be switched to use a different model. But in this version, it's all OpenAI-based models. So there's the language model, and it has I gave it access to a number of tools. So it's additional functionality that it can use to gather more information. So it's not just information that the model has been trained on, that it knows about, but it can use these tools to access more. And one of them is obviously a catalog search tool. So it will perform catalog searches for you. And it's basically the same as you would do it through the standard web interface for the catalog. So it has the same type of access that you have if you just access the catalog directly. It can also look into our knowledge graph that we have. So that's most of the concepts and terminology related to soil health. So it knows a little bit about the scientific terms that in some way should match the documents that we have and the metadata for the datasets. Is there a question in the chat? So something blinking, but I don't see the chat.
Yes, someone just asked to upload a recording of the session on our YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
I can confirm that
Yes.
it will be uploaded and shared with you afterwards.
Okay, cool, thanks. So yes, the knowledge graph, and then for demonstration purposes, I also gave it access to ISRIC SoilGrids. So SoilGrids is, if you don't know about it, it's the global soil information, statistically derived from a model. It's a statistical information, so it's not soil sampling all over the world, but it's derived from available soil sampling, but then statistically calculated at 250-meter resolution. So it's basically a coarse data set, but it's available all over the world. So that's a nice aspect. And in the Netherlands, it also has access to our Argo Data Cube, which is the publicly available crop parcel information in the Netherlands. So it has access to some additional resources where it can find more information, and it can use this information to build hopefully better answers and more detailed answers. So yeah, that's a bit of the overview. This is like a backup slide for if the live demo doesn't work. So let me try to start my live thing, unless there are new questions I see. So I just need to figure out how to stop this. Okay. So I guess you can see the chatbot screen now. Somehow these Zoom thing doesn't work nice if you have two screens. It's always hunting where to go. So this is the chatbot in my Firefox browser. It should work with any type of web browser, unless you have a really obscure one. But obviously didn't test on all of them. So there's some login. So the information to log in the username and password is in the evaluation form that we will share later. So then you can run it yourself. Let me see if I So yes, so if you start login, then you see this screen. There's some starting information in this left sidebar. So with some tips, if you're not so familiar with chatbots, about how, since it's based on conversation, so you need to, if it doesn't give you a very detailed, precise answer right away, then you need to ask some follow-up questions. It's how these systems work. So that's one of the tips. And also there's some security measures, so you cannot, your question can be a maximum of 400 characters, basically. And there's some automated logging out if you are inactive for a long time. And some other nice hints on how to use it. So let me see. So you can just start typing them. Go. So hope that works. Okay. So you can see that it provides an answer to the questions similar to chatbots. You can also see in the bottom bar, there's a status bar. Things are running, you're logged in, and on the right side, it shows you which model it's currently using. And then you can also, it provides some links to a document, the soil monitoring law in this case. Now you can click on it and it will try to open it for you. So now you can continue your reading. So this is kind of very, very basic how it works. Then in the sidebar, see also if it's can provide some more insight. So all these terms, they go back to what I said about the knowledge graph. So these are the scientific terms from the knowledge graph that it's as related to the text and the answer. And then you can use these terms to if you want to read more about it. So say, I want to know more about plant growth or something. You can go and see if it will just fill in a template question. So then you can just accept it. And this one will be searching in the catalog if there's something about plant growth. So this is like a way to automate your access to the catalog, and it will go and search and find whatever is available and provide links to it. These are data sets. And I can click on the link and you end up in the catalog, the detailed page about catalog record. And then there are further links that you can go to. And you find the actual data and can download it. So as said, this is like a way, a different way to access the catalog and all the information that's in it. And then, of course, you can do other interesting things. So I want to get a story about earthworms. So these are, yeah, yeah, okay. Oh, here we go with the story. So this is basically, yeah, you can make use of the LLM type of functionality. So it can everything that the model can do. So it can try to reason about things, and it can try to write a text and poems and explain more of soil health functionality through the links or any follow-up question that you want to ask. There's another one. So this is with publications, and I will try to write a one-page explaining about this topic. And then again, it will look into the catalog, see what it can find, and then generate an explainer text. And hopefully, in this case, so in some cases, it will not find any good matches in the catalog. So then, if it does, it usually mentions the references to catalog records. In this case, it seems like it couldn't find anything that matches. And then it just generates text based on what the model knows, what it has learned in pre-training. So there's these different like modalities that it can work in. And then if you don't like this, if you like the answer, you can click on this thumbs up. So that will log a positive message on our servers, and then I can later analyze all these feedback, simple feedback items, and see how the system is doing, or monitor how the system is doing and what needs adjustment. And of course, in the negative one, you can say, okay, this is too generic, and then this message will be logged on the server, and I can also analyze that later. Let's see yeah, and here on top, there's some things where if you like to work more in dark mode, or you can copy all the text of the conversation. It will be copied to your clipboard of your operating system, and then you can paste it in any type of in a Word document, or if you want to save it. And you can log out, and you can also clear everything. So, of course, the system during your conversation, it builds up a memory of what has been asked before. And if you want to start fresh, make it forget everything that has been put in the conversation, then you have to clear it. So that it erases its memory basically, and you can start with a new set of questions. Let's see then. So for some use cases or some users, it's like having a proper location is important, and giving the chatbot location, your location, and it will use it, and like I said, it will try to access these tools, so like SoilGrids or ArgoDataCube, to give you a more precise answer that is kind of related to your specific to your location once it knows your location. So here, let's say I go to Australia, search it. So let's zoom in a little bit. So this is like the typical map tools where zoomed in very far, but okay, let's click here. It gets the coordinates where you click, and then you can ask it a question. And then it should use this this position to look into soil grids. Let's see. But yeah, unfortunately, the SoilGrids API is not always available. So it seems like today it's acting up a little bit. Otherwise, it would just it would find the SoilGrids statistical information, and would give you information about all the soil layers and pH in the soil and all those interesting bits that there are to know about the soil. It's kind of unfortunate that it's not working today. Sorry for that. Can see if the go to a location in the Netherlands. See if we can get something from our data group today. Let's see here. Oh, it's close to one of our nuclear plants. See. Okay, so this is information that it gets from our Dutch Agro Data Group. There's a field ID in the database, the Agro Data Group database, and the crop type. Let's see. So the Agro has multiple year information. You can see here. It also has information about the soil type or basically also NDVI, but let me see. This is of course getting this. Okay, so apparently it managed to access the NDVI, so the greenness of the field measured with, from Sentinel-2 and calculated. For this field, so it gets the yearly time series and then calculated some values from it. But this is just to showcase that this type of functionality is possible if you have access to these type of data sets, or if you can build an API that the LLM can access and then use the information for generating the responses. See, I wanted to one more thing that I wanted to show is that we can also upload some soil sampling lab reports, for example. So you can basically, there's the functionality to upload small text files with additional information that you want to keep basically private. So it's now uploaded and stored for your session only. So once your browser session ends, then this information is removed again. So it's not kept on the server in any way. But you can still use it. Let's see. So now this is like a typical soil sampling report, and then you can read the information in it and do some interpretation. And then, of course, you can start combining these things. So in this case, there's a lab report, and in the Netherlands, you will be able to get your, if it's from a crop field, you can get the crop information as well. Usually you know that yourself, but okay. You get the crop information, and then you can start asking for more information from the catalog related to all this type of data that you're collecting, and then answer your whatever final question you have. Let's see. It's a bit slow, but now it's generating some advice specific to this soil sampling. And it probably takes into account the crop. Seems like it, but yeah, at some point my soil expertise is insufficient to actually judge if this answer is actually usable or correct. But yeah, these are like basically the functionality. I think you can see how it matches with the diagram that I showed before. This. So yes, you can see that once I clear the conversation, the uploaded file is also gone. So forgotten about that now. Maybe are there any immediate questions? I didn't see anything.
No, no questions
in the
so
chat.
far. No.
Okay, good. Let me stop sharing this screen. Okay, so slides again. So yes, this is like basically all the things I have shown. I think this is where we give you the opportunity to try it yourself. And would like to try it yourself and give us some feedback now. In this slide, there's like basically the two types of questions that I also have been demonstrating. So you have these simple questions that are more general knowledge, basically your soil related knowledge. And on the other side, there's part two are the more complex, basically more complex usage of the chatbot, where you can use like a lab report that you can upload if you have something available right away, or work with a certain location. Although unfortunately, SoilGrid is not working, but it might improve when you try it. Occasionally, it's just offline, and then at some point it comes back online. Or yeah, you can go to the Netherlands somewhere and try to work with a crop field in the Netherlands. See those are basically the two types. The QR code and the link will bring you to the evaluation form that has the at the top has the URL for the chatbot, and then also the username and password.
Sorry, Rob, to interrupt you. There is a question in the chat bot. One of
Sure.
our participants said that he's also working on the mapping the impact of biochar on the soil health and water retentive. So can I use it for European region, especially for Turkey?
I think yes, but it depends a bit on what if we have sufficient information in the catalog about Turkey, and I don't know how much we collect. Things like if SoilGrids works, it's globally available, so that should be available in Turkey as well. But other than that, yeah. So these are the additional data sources, but you'll have the like the general LLM capabilities that you can also use and see if they work well enough.
Okay, the other question is, can we get the maps?
You can get maps if they are available in the catalog. The chatbot will not draw maps for you, but if you find data sets that match your query in the catalog, then you can use those to create maps, if that answers your question.
All right. If
But
there aren't
these things really depend on what we have available in the SoilWise catalog. So it's not that the chatbot will invent maps for you. Basically, it needs to be in the catalog. Otherwise, there's not much more that the chatbot can do. It just sits on top of the catalog.
All right. If there aren't any other questions, please use the link in the chat. Open it. Go to the validation of Soil Companion evaluation form, and there you will have an access data information to enter the chatbot. So please have a look and test it on your own.
Moreover, if you have questions that the chatbot is not answering today, they might also be interesting for us, because then we can see if we find a lot of similar questions, it can be taken up in the next round eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sure. I think in the end there's a slide with all the SoilWise contact information. Not sure specifically my email address is on it, but you can I'll type it in the chat. But that's my email address. If you have very specific questions, then just send me a message and I'll see what I can do. And like Mark said, I'm very interested in any type of feedback that you can provide, and all of that will be taken into account for the next version. I cannot promise that I can implement everything, but I'll do my best.
There's a question if
yes,
Rob or other colleagues
LinkedIn.
have their LinkedIn IDs. You can find us via LinkedIn. You can also contact us directly via contact form or on our website. I will share the link in the chat box. And of course, you can contact directly Rob via email.
Yes, I do have LinkedIn, so I guess we have a SoilWise LinkedIn group. I should be in the SoilWise LinkedIn group. So
yes, I will share the link.
Okay.
So basically, these are the questions that you can ask our chatbot. You can try. You can start with simple questions, and then try more detailed ones. And we look forward to hear your feedback. You can either raise your hand and tell us your impressions directly, or you can simply either fill out the form that we sent to you, or just type it in the chat box. And of course, if you have any questions how to use it, or you require any details on how to use it in more more detailed research, feel free to ask your question. There's another question in our chat box. Does it measure the impact of biotic stresses, their health, like soil microbe interaction?
It's a good question. I think it kind of wonder what you exactly mean or expect. I mean, of course, it's a chatbot, so it doesn't measure anything directly. It can try to, if it finds information about these things, then it will give you that as an answer, and it can try to be intelligent in what it will answer. But there are of course limits to what it can do. Basically. I'm not sure if that was what you are looking for, or I think I would just try this as a question and see how it will respond. That might be best. And then if there's gaps or anything missing, then please let me know, and then as feedback, and you can try to figure out if this is some functionality that we want to add, and how we can do that. I think a lot depends on if we have this type of information that's needed in the SoilWise Catalogue.
There's another question in the chat box. So, but feel free to raise your hand and talk directly with us. We'd be happy to interact with you. So one of our participants said, would you like to contact, I mean, to say this out loud, soil scientist? Or if not, I can read it. So yesterday, I attended the session of FAO, and I'm concerned about climate change. The world is pushing us on fast production, and soil scientists taking initiatives on organic amendments, how we can cope and balance this.
Yeah, to me, I'm a bit looking on. So this is, yeah, it seems like a bit more of a general topic that for SoilWise to answer, or the soil scientist in SoilWise, or the experts that want to maybe provide some guidance. It's not very technical, where I can say, okay, this is how you can solve this dilemma with the chatbot. Of course, you can try to ask the chatbot, but basically it will. So the idea of the SoilWise project is it will try to nudge people towards sustainable soil health behavior, basically. So if you ask something like this to the chatbot, it will try to push you into the sustainable direction. So away from the fast production, basically, as a way to promote this type of behavior. But yeah, I guess that makes clear where SoilWise stand in this regard. But I think more than that is that I probably should not try to say about it, as it's not really my domain of expertise.
May I intervene? Because for the audience, within the use case one, like we call this, is the use case for the land planners, landowners, and the farmers. This is really the type of questions that we are constantly asking. And of course, the answers depend on the data sources that SoilWise is harvesting. And at the moment, they're harvesting all explicitly metadata, and a lot of information we found out is not yet covered by metadata. We call them gray literature, and in fact, also the quality of the answers of the chatbot can be improved if we can access over time also these other types of informations. But the question you are asking here, that's a typical question that a farmer would ask, because, okay, on the one hand, he is earning his revenue is based on, of course, on productivity and the product and the volumes or the liters or the mass that he can harvest from his land. But he has now to optimize this whole process with an additional equation, an additional constraint that's in fact remaining on improving soil health. So this is an additional challenge to overcome. And in fact, that's what we have to try to give some guidance and to give some elements so that the farmer in question, in this case, can take the right decision. So we have to go from a harvester of data and all those information to more decision oriented tools. And in fact, the chatbot is going in that direction. And okay, it can only be improved in the coming iterations. And that's therefore we need you, because when you challenge the chatbot and you don't find the proper answer or the answer is insufficient, let us know so that we can identify the next routes for improvement.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. And I can add that for the next version, I'm looking into this direction that Mark is sketching, but it's also, like you said, it really depends on what SoilWise wants to or can harvest or wants to harvest. So if we don't have this information, then if SoilWise doesn't collect this type of information, then like a chatbot is pretty, makes it pretty hopeless for a chatbot to provide answers. And it will just generate answers based on what the language model has learned, and that is sometimes it might not be what we want.
Okay, I guess we can go to the next stage now.
Any more advanced questions or?
Show, I think the best thing is to show the example.
Okay, so you want me to live demo these questions again? Is that helpful, or?
No, that's what I was
Happy.
saying. People are now
Okay.
testing, I think, or they can test in the coming hour or days or weeks. I hope they do it now, immediately. We can, I think, continue the presentation, the next steps
Okay.
and how is that going.
Yes. Let me. Good. So yes. So this is what I'm doing currently based on all the feedback that I have. So that's steps on the top. We already had some feedback rounds also with soil domain experts. So there were people that already filled in these evaluation forms. I know it's a bit extensive and can take some time if you want to fill it very seriously. Basically, you can do it. You can fill it in quickly and then have some information. But if you can provide fill in all the information, then that gives me, of course, much more detail to work with. And all the details will go also into my testing and evaluation of the final version. So the more I have, the better I can make it, basically. So that's the second step is I collect all this feedback and analyze it and see what we can learn from it. And if there are common topics, obviously, then those will get a bit more priority. And these are few of the things that I got from the evaluation forms so far and the evaluation sessions that we obviously also did. So you can see that this system is still lacking in lots of ways, which is good because this is quite a simple system. So that it's obvious that there are many things that can be learned from it, and many ways that we can still improve it. So so one of the findings is that it's not precise enough. So when soil grids work, we have this 250-meter statistical information about soils, which, of course, if you look at field level, those are insufficient. The referencing from the catalog is also not good enough yet. Also, because the catalog that the system is accessing is like an older version. So the latest version, there should be more information in it already. So, and if you ask for tables or more nicely structured text, then this is also a bit clumsy at the moment. And thus, interestingly, if you ask your question in non-English language, then you might get a less good answer. And this is basically because these large language models have trained on predominantly English text, because that's mostly available. So they perform a little bit worse if your question is not in English. I'm trying to deal with that as good as possible. So the chatbot will be multilingual. It will try to reply and answer in the question in the language that you ask your question in. And then under the hood, what I try now is under the hood translate your question into English to improve the search results. But then, of course, it depends on how well your question translates to English. So it's a bit of a tricky thing, but I'm trying to handle it. So yes, these are step 3. All these different things I'm trying for the new version. So it will be like now. This version is like a conversational system, so you have to actively ask your follow-up questions, and then the next version will be more like, it's called an agentic system. So it will more try to do the steps that you now have to do manually in an automated way. So it will take a bit longer to create an answer, but then the answer should be more what you're looking for. Instead of you having to do the manual steps, it will try to do them for you. And that's a bit what is in the middle of this slide. So on the left, that's the current chatbot user interface, and on the right is a little bit of a sneak peek into the new version that I'm working on. Yeah, and it's like an illustration of one of the findings that in the conversational system, the current one, you have to, like I said, just ask the follow-up questions yourself. And if it misses looking into the catalog, you have to point it. You have to actively ask it to look in the catalog. And then in this version 3 shows that it's, in the first screenshot, you see that it has several agents that do a sequential workflow. Basically is like a research type of workflow, where it will search the catalog and then see what it has found and see if there are gaps in the knowledge that it needs to answer your question, do another search if needed, look at the references and other information. So it will be more automated processing. And then finally, it will try to also try to gather what's the intention of your question, what are you actually looking for, and what type of text would serve you best. So we'll try to judge if this is like a question from a land manager or if it's a question from a policymaker, and then fine-tune the answer, the writing style, basically to what it thinks would be the best way. And then in the end, it will do some quality checking. So we'll see if it mentions all the references and list all them and a few other things. And then basically you get the answer after a little wait. So it might take a minute, up to a minute currently, to generate the answer. And then you get it in one go. And it should be complete. So you usually don't have to ask too many follow-up questions. You can still do it, but hopefully it will not be needed anymore. And then under the answer, it will provide you a list of sources. So in the current version, you've seen that sometimes it can provide links to the catalog in the text, basically, or at the end as references. But now it will, in the new version, it will just provide them as a list underneath the answer. Also links to the vocabulary, to the knowledge graph. And then from these cards beneath the answer, the sources that it has used, you can also click on the links and it will do the same thing. It will open the catalog page for the answer. And there are a few more tricks that I'm working on. So it will have like an option to search on the web as well. And then it will try to kind of grade the answers or the sources for reliability. Because the idea is that what we get from our catalog is kind of vetted and should have higher quality than what it can get from the internet. So internet resources will have lower ranking than catalog resources, for example. But of course, there might be more, if you look at the web, might be more actual information or more recent information. But it might be like, how you say it might be biased in the wrong direction. So there's a lot of interesting things that I'm working on, I think, that will improve. And here you can see that you don't have to pinpoint your own location. Once you mention it in the text in your question, then it will do the SoilWise and the location lookup in the background. So this has also been kind of automated. Yeah, and then ultimately this is like still my goal. So we've seen that, like I mentioned, Google and ChatGPT also get better and know more about soil. And I'm still trying to have as a unique selling point for any type of chatbot we develop in the project, that it will try to improve the soil-related questions, the answer to soil-related questions, and point you to the right places in the SoilWise Catalogue. Sorry. So this, I think it's quite what I've built so far. Looks quite good. I think it actually looks like a good improvement to the current system. Already addressing some of the feedback and the pain points that were detected. So if you can provide me more feedback, then I will try to build it into the next version while it's still under development. And I think we also will have an ethical expert at some point having a look. I'm building in lots of these ethical fail-safes or guardrails as they are called, so that, like I said, this nudging towards sustainable soil health behavior. This is one of the things, but there are many more ethical aspects that have to be covered or blocked, or the system should be protected against saying the wrong things, and wrong in the opinion of SoilWise, of course. Yeah, and I think that's all I had as slides. One.
There's another question. Rob, please don't stop sharing your screen.
Okay, I won't stop it. So ChatGPT preferred authentic. So yes, what is authentic information? This is like also an interesting question. I think ChatGPT or the language model, we don't control that. It's OpenAI that trained it on the internet. Yeah, and they basically, what these big tech companies do, of course, is scrape everything from the internet. They just try to collect as much text as possible. So yes, it has the bias of the internet. So I'm not sure if you would call that authentic information. I think the authentic information should come from the SoilWise and what it accepts in its catalog. And I'm hoping that there's some we are collecting mostly authentic information, but yeah, this is like up to SoilWise and see what they do. I know there's some very good filtering on it, but I'm not sure if that will make it authentic or not. Yeah, and maybe my colleagues can respond to this question as well.
Yeah, I can only support what you're saying. I mean, one of the main goals of SoilWise is to provide high quality soil and soil health information. So the basis for the chatbot should be the fact that SoilWise is, let's say, the authoritative resource for soil and soil health information. So, and I know that's not in your control, but that's what we're aiming for with the project, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to add one more thing. So I've built in also in the final version, this version 3 of the chatbot, it has its own built-in rack system. So that's on top or besides the catalog. And this built-in mechanism, basically, we can put in the documents that basically can get the highest priority for answering a question. So that they will tend to overrule everything. So if you have something like the soil monitoring law, this is pretty important for SoilWise. So it will be in this own internal rack system. So anything it gets from this document will influence the answers very, very much. So anything that SoilWise thinks that should be in this should get this type of priority for answering questions, we can add it in the system, and it will kind of be on top of or overruling everything that it will first find in the catalog, and well, really secondary what it can find on the internet if you use that type of functionality. So that's kind of the build-up in the system where we can actively try to control what has which effect on the answer that the LLM will try to give.
I think that last aspect is, sorry, Rob. I think that last aspect is quite important because, like I said in the beginning, not all health-related information is covered by metadata. And if you are participating in a scientific or other project which has really very solid data and very solid conclusions, it can be in that with that functionality, it can be taken into account, and that can be quite important.
Yeah. Yeah, so to me, it's kind of the question: how much information will be put in there? And of course, it's more limited than the full catalog. In the catalog, we can have much more metadata about documents or even full text of some open access publications. And then this internal rack system that I mentioned will be much more limited in a number of documents that we want to put in it. So it will be much more curated and controlled. But we have to figure out which are these very important documents for SoilWise that we want to add there.
Rob, there's another question for you.
Limited access to research articles. I don't know how we're handling those at the moment, actually. So they will be in the catalog, I think, but I don't know how if they're open access, then they should be in the catalog. But with limited access, I'm not sure how we deal with those publications. Maybe Rob Lopes knows, but I think it's still kind of an open question.
I think they could be in the catalog, but if they're limited access, then we can probably not access them to work with for the chatbot. And people who want to access it from the catalog can only access if they have the right access
Yeah, exactly.
to those documents.
So we might have
yeah.
I think we might have the metadata record in the catalog, and then you try to access it. You have your own. If you have an account or have the access to the research article, you can still access it. But if not, but then the chatbot will only know about the abstract. So if it's a very good abstract, there might be usable information in it. But for the more detailed reasoning about the content of the paper, that won't be insufficient.
It's also, of course, that more and more of those kind of knowledge is becoming open access these days. So hopefully this issue of important knowledge not being accessible because of all kinds of payment walls and so becomes less and less.
Any other questions? I hope you have successfully tested our chatbot, and we would like to hear your impressions, either right now at the moment or by filling out the validation form or just by contacting us later on.
Yes, I think
Yes, sorry.
Okay, you're welcome. No, I was going to say, I think this chatbot will be online for a while still, so it won't be shut down after the session. So there's some time available to do your own testing, and hopefully, provide the feedback.
Rob, could you please move to the next slide?
Yes, of course, there are more slides.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, there are two more slides just for
yes,
reminders.
with the information.
Yes. Reminding everyone to use the form that we shared, and please fill it out with your feedback. That will be useful for Rob's further development of our Soil Companion. Next slide, please.
Yes.
And
I'm not used to you saying next slide, so sorry.
Yes, yes. Please.
Okay.
You can find us here. I will share the links into the inbox. So visit our website for regular updates, subscribe to our newsletter, and follow us on the social media. do you have anything else to add? Mark, Rob, another Rob?
No, that's it. Thank you for your attention and joining this session and watching me stumble around the demonstration. So I hope you learned something from it. Yeah.
And if you have additional questions, don't hesitate to post them or to ask them. We can only learn from it and try to improve what we are doing.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.